Good morning, folks. Somerset, Grandma's house, Texas, Quito, Ecuador. I hope Ecuador is doing a little better. District of Columbia, where Black Lives Matter is painted on the street right in front of the White House. Denver, South Africa, Sheboygan, which is a fantastic word. San Antonio, Philippines. Marietta, Berkeley, Fort Worth, North Carolina. Always cool to see where people are at. Happy Juneteenth, everyone. Can anyone say what Juneteenth is about? Let's go over that. Owen Sound, Ontario. Happy Juneteenth, Michelle. Santa Monica, California. Minneapolis, Victoria, Calgary, Illinois, Winnipeg, Scotland. I think we had a Philippines in here, but I'm missing it. I might have skipped past it. St. Louis, Florida. Upstate New York, Geneva. Wow. Geneva, Switzerland. Illinois, Rancho. Santa Fe, New Orleans. Baltimore, Florida. Wales. I partially hail from Wales. Colorado. All right. Puerto Rico. Sorry about my awful lack of accent. Okay. Sunderton, near Philly. Hudson Valley. That's where some of my folks hailed from. Philippines. Yes. Carla. Lancashire. Fort Collins. So thank you so much for everyone for waiting. How was your experience of waiting? In American culture, whenever we gotta button up my shirt, get a lot of criticism about that. It's okay to criticize guys, apparently, about how we dress. Cairo, Oakland, Santa Cruz. Let's begin with a great bow, and then I want to talk about the experience of waiting, since we just did that. Rochester, Cairo, hello. All right, let's take a great posture. Best posture of the day, of the week. Get those shoulders back, bring them up, bring them down, still back, relax. Bring your shoulders back, do it again. Remind your shoulder blades how to exist. Shoulders back and up. Shoulders down and back, and then relax. Do it again. Back, up, down, and back, relax. That retrains your shoulder blades to open up, which is vital for us. Anyone here do laptoping or phone stuff? All right, let's take that great posture. And with respect, friendliness, a deep sense of relaxation born on the breath. Take a good breath. Give it away. So I have a lot of things to get through. One is, let's talk about waiting. What was your experience of waiting? Did you come on time? Were you irritated that I wasn't here? Did you start looking at your phone? Did you leave? Are you gone and I'm not even talking to you? In the American culture, particularly, we're so speedy and we're used to this customer service relationship. When I grew up in the Buddhist community, everything was always late. It was an hour and a half late. Now, late may be not a virtue, but Emily or Molly, I did a podcast on in defense of being late. That we are ruled by the sense of speediness. Speediness can be the opposite of breath. We can feel disrespected when someone is late, and on some level it is disrespectful. But what if we had the experience when someone was late of just saying, as Larry David says, I love it when someone cancels on me. I then have an hour or two of unexpected space. So what if you have the experience, like when my friends, if I'm at a restaurant, remember restaurants? When I'm at a restaurant, someone goes to the bathroom, I just sit there and I explicitly try to stay off my phone because that's an opportunity to look around at the trees, at the people, to say hi to someone. But I don't look for entertainment. I just look around and appreciate my life. I've talked about this in terms of lines at a cafe. When you're in a line at a cafe, everyone in America has to get their phone out. I don't have my phone with me, so I'll pretend this is my phone. And they just have to be like this, because anytime we are late, we have to occupy our speediness. Our speediness is like a leash that is pulling us. So we constantly have to entertain our speediness as if it's a dog who wants to play with a ball. So yeah, it's great, Iva, to use that time to do other things. But what if we used the time to do nothing? Nothing is something that almost none of us ever do. Trungpa Rinpoche, the Buddhist teacher, back in the 70s, said something that always stuck with me. And I'm going to share it with you, and maybe it'll always stick with you. He said, Americans, he had just come over from Tibet, remember, in India. He said, Americans never do nothing. The only time they ever do nothing is when they're in the passenger seat of a car. You're looking around, maybe you're talking, but you're not necessarily reading a book. Now we have the radio. I mean, we had the radio then, but now we have the radio, we have channels, we have TVs, we have our phone, blah, blah. We have to fill the space. What's that quote by, I think it's a French philosopher, that all the problems in the world could be solved if mankind, humankind, could simply sit in a chair in a room alone, something like that. Doing nothing doesn't mean that you're not useful. The cult of efficiency, Lydia, the cult of efficiency says, fill every moment of space. But what if we reread Henry David Thoreau? What if we go on a hike in nature and we remember the virtue of appreciation? Because nothing is often appreciation. Nothing isn't this passive sort of that you're super out of it. Nothing can be, you're just present. How many times I eat cinnamon raisin bread for breakfast almost every day with my coffee? How many times am I actually present with that bread? I usually eat 4 slices in the morning. You know why? Because part of my calculation is if I eat 4 slices, I'll be half present for 2 of them in total. So that speediness causes us to overeat. Who here has ever lost your temper? Think about it. Usually when we lose our temper, it's because we're frustrated, because too much is going on, because we don't have any sense of space. That space can be accomplished when you're cycling, when you're walking. And I want to reconnect this to Juneteenth. I want to reconnect this to everything that's going on in the world. And this is the kind of stuff we teach in Elephant Academy. Elephant Academy ain't about sitting around writing your thoughts on a piece of paper. Elephant Academy is, how do I find my voice? Where is my voice? Who am I? How do I show up fully? And use that directly to be a benefit to the world. Now, what's the connection? Can anyone say it's one word, 3 syllables? How do we use who we are, when we find who we are, when we find our voice, to be a benefit to others? How does that happen? Is it conscious? What is the word for that? Anyone? Bum 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 bum. Either comments are delayed or you're all waiting. Mindfulness, good guess. But what's the direct connection between finding my voice, who I am, and helping others? Aligned, one word, 3 syllables. Remember Robin Williams in Dead Poets Society? He comes up behind all the boys and says, "May our lives be extraordinary." So it's empathy, Crystal, empathy. Empathy is not conscious. Empathy is wakeful, but empathy is a natural unfolding, as we say in Buddhism, turning the flower outward. So when you find the flower, compassion works, compassion works. When you find the flower that is your fundamental goodness, which is just your basic connection. Can we put the Dead Poets Society video in the sidebar? It's so inspiring. Carpe diem. Let's put that, it's called When Death Comes Without Warning. And it's the Buddhist Four Reminders. Please open that blog. Please read it. Please share it. When you do so, you help Elephant. And hopefully you help yourself, and not in that order. Serenity is beautiful, but what we're talking about is empathy. What would you do if you saw a beautiful little puppy? This is a mean analogy, okay? What would you do if I showed you this beautiful little puppy and then I kicked the puppy? What would you do? Cry. I'm saying we're in person. I show you a puppy and then I kick it. What would you do? Ask me to stop, cry, get angry. Yeah, but what would you do out of that anger? React negatively. Yeah, but what would you do? Get angry, upset. Grab the puppy. Thank you, Julia. Jesus. Took a while. Rescue the puppy from your harm. Louisa. Yes. Tell you to get away from the puppy. This isn't a hard question. Exactly. Crystal. What the hell are you doing? Grab the puppy. So you wouldn't even think about it. You wouldn't even think about it. Am I right? You wouldn't even think about it. Can someone say, yes, I would not even think about it. I would just act. Punching me, all that, that's a little extra. Maybe I deserve the punch, but your main focus immediately would be to protect the puppy. If punching helped, fine, but it doesn't even matter. You just want to protect the puppy. Can everyone just write protect the puppy? That's our new hashtag, protect the puppy. You might hesitate out of fear, but you would want to help. You would want to help. You would want to help. Protect the puppy. So that is what empathy is. And I had to use that mean analogy because when we are confronted by suffering, Buddhists say this is the sign of fundamental basic goodness. When we are confronted by suffering unexpectedly, we immediately have the instinct to help. Now, things can get in the way of that instinct. Prejudice. Oh, puppies don't matter, right? We all think puppies matter. But how many of you eat meat, right? How many of us in America, particularly, but all over the world, are prejudiced? So we come up with all kinds of logics where we say, oh, these people, they don't matter. These people are stupid. These people are aggressive. These people are bad. We've said that about the Italians in America. We said that about the Irish. We said that about the African Americans. We've said that about every group, the Germans. We've said that about the Japanese. We've said that about every group of immigrants. We've said that about the Native Americans. Prejudice, as Pema Chodron says, can someone find that quote? That our basic goodness is like the sky, and neurosis, prejudice, hate, fear, all these things, these are just clouds going across the sky. So it's not that they don't matter. The clouds can cover up the sun. And let's remember, clouds can also be beautiful. They can give rain, they can give snow, they can give shade. But in this case, we're talking about clouds as a cloud of neurosis. We can't even see our fundamental instinct to kindness. Yeah, and fear can be intelligent too, Diane. If I'm 7'5" and I'm a martial artist, you may think twice about interfering, but maybe you'd call the police. You try to do something. I know calling the police maybe is a weighted, a complicated thing to unpack right now. But in terms of injustice, you would try to find some way to stop the injustice. You are the sky, everything else is just the weather. Many people don't seem to be able to find their fundamental goodness, Laura Murphy says. All of us, who are we to say many people out there? We struggle to find our fundamental goodness. All of us do. And that brings us back to the nothing. So next time, here's my homework assignment. My homework assignment is nothing. My homework assignment is do nothing. Next time you have an opportunity to protect the gap. So we just said protect the puppy. Can everyone, if you agree, type protect the gap? And you don't have to type it yet. I'll explain. Protect the gap means next time you have an opportunity for space, enjoy it. Don't clean, don't read, don't get on your phone. Just look around and appreciate your life. Trungpa Rinpoche says, look, this is your life. This is your world. Exactly, Kristen. That's exactly what I was thinking about, the Cooper situation in Central Park. So protect the gap, if you agree, next time it comes up. And here's why protect the gap can be the beginning of activism, the kind of activism that is kindness, that is protect the puppy, that is protect the gap, protect the pause. That's fine. You can put it in your own words. I love that. So the reason is it helps our minds and our hearts breathe. For those of us like Julie who do yoga, we know that part of the virtue of yoga is that it reconnects us with our breath. We don't have our phones, except for those of us who are filming ourselves constantly. We just have an hour or an hour and a half or 2 hours with our bodies and our breath and our minds. And the only entertainment we have is the flow or the posture. Many people hope a spiritual practice will let them avoid what they are ashamed of. But when you hide something from yourself, you're going to project it onto your world. You continually find it in others, and it becomes the source of prejudices and dogmatic views. On top of that, you feel bad about yourself because you aren't the loving, open-minded spiritual person you'd like to be. Oh my God, Avanel, love that. Can we please, Emily, Molly, copy paste that, and we'll share that in an Instagram or in the newsletter. We send you a newsletter at the end of all of these. Has anyone ever seen our emails to you? Do you like them? Do you hate them? Are you bored by them? Do you not open them? Do you open them? Are you going to say they're okay because you're being nice? The reason that doing nothing is important is it means we can relax into our lives. We can appreciate our breath. We can appreciate the present moment. And from that point of view, we can, from that point of beginning, we can reconnect with our fundamental goodness. So that link is elephantjournal.com/best. That's our daily inspiration, our daily wake-up call. Can someone put that in? elephantjournal.com/best. So when we reconnect with our fundamental goodness, then what naturally arises? Anyone? When we dare to be bored, when we dare to relax into that boredom, when we dare to do nothing, as Julie says, we rediscover our fundamental goodness, our basic goodness. Did we put the basic goodness blog in there by Trungpa Rinpoche? He explains everything much better than me. And it's not a philosophy, it's actually an experience that you can have. That's an important distinction. It's not a philosophy. It's an experience you can have. Please read Shambhala, the book. It's not a philosophy. The world is full of philosophies, right? It's an experience you can have. Like, you know the expression knock on wood? Does anyone know what the Buddha did when he attained enlightenment? Anyone? They said, how do you know you attained enlightenment? What's your proof? Does anyone know that story? What did he do? Carla, if you don't get any emails, yeah, then that's not useful for you. What did the Buddha do? What was his proof? Well, that's the fruition, right? Kristen, what are you talking about? What's that quote? That's Emily, Molly, that's my favorite Buddhist quote blog. A wet bird just flew up and it's drying itself. It rained here all night long. As I slept, I heard the rain all night long. So the fruition of that path, in my favorite Buddhist quote, is making a cup of tea. But what the Buddha did is he touched the ground. He said, "The earth is my witness." Does anyone remember that? Has anyone studied the life of the Buddha? So there's pretty much my favorite Buddhist quote ever. And it really is. I actually have it right over here. So I think it'll be backward for you. I think it'll be backward here, but it says, hold the sadness and pain of samsara in your heart. So witness suffering, hold that feeling, don't avoid it, which is positivity. And at the same time, the power and wisdom of the morning sun, the great eastern sun, then the warrior, the brave, vulnerable warrior, can make a proper cup of tea. That's Pema Chodron or Trungpa Rinpoche. Oh, it's not backward. Oh, great. Thank you. So this quote changed my life, because when I was young, I was like, what do you do with that sadness? How do you stay cheerful? How do you not get depressed by suffering? Well, you do allow yourself to get depressed by suffering. You do allow yourself to get depressed by suffering. But you also, at the same time, keep that, the power and wisdom, the vision and brilliance of the morning sun, of wakeful human goodness in your vision, in your hearts. So you have both, your joy and pain, sunshine and rain. So like that, you want both together. What does sunshine and rain create together when they're together? Quiet group today, or maybe just a delay. There we go. Rainbow. And that brings us back to activism. So what is a rainbow symbolic of? Everyone, with all of our diversity, LGBTQ, and also just everyone in all of our uniqueness, being together, community. So when we dare to do nothing, that's your homework. What's your homework? Nothing. When you dare to do nothing, you can relax. You can experience your basic goodness. Basic goodness isn't looking inward always. It's looking outward at a bird, cleaning itself from the rain. When we reconnect with that basic goodness, then we reconnect with empathy. When we reconnect with empathy, we naturally want to be of service. We naturally want to help others. We naturally want to share our privilege instead of hoarding our privilege. And all of us have privilege in different forms. All of us. Some have more than others. That all makes sense? So if you have any questions, you can put them and ask a question. So someone asked how Redford is. He had a really rough week last week. He's my dog, my mutt, my rescue, and my best friend, or one of them. And yeah, he got poisoned from someone spraying poison on their lawns, I guess, and he didn't eat for many days, and he threw up like 7 times. And he took very good care of himself. And then he got stung on his eyeball by a bee. And I've also written about privilege and done a podcast and video on privilege. We could put that in the sidebar. Feeling shame over your privilege is just as useless and bad, Crystal, and don't feel shame about it being bad, as hoarding your privilege and keeping it greedily, Crystal. It's good that you feel shame about it, but then you have to move on. You have to let go. How can you be of service? How can you use your privilege to help others? Because just flagellating ourselves with shame, you know, it's not helpful. The world urgently needs our help, your society, your community. So the best way, as Eleanor Roosevelt said, to discover joy is to share that privilege. So go use your privilege, Crystal. Where's one area? Maybe everyone here could do that. Where's one area where we could be a benefit through our privilege? Can we all share one thing? By the way, the conversation with Senator Cory Booker was terrific. Let's put that sidebar. Did everyone see the Cory Booker conversation or the Jane Elliott conversation? Let's put both in the sidebar. And if you haven't seen them, Those were the last 2 weeks. And thank you for raising that, because that's what I wanted to touch on next. Is I was going to invite someone next, and I still will, but I didn't have that moment of clarity that I had with Jane Elliott and that I had with Cory Booker on inviting them. And I also got a bunch of comments that there was people were saying they enjoyed them, but they also missed just our community being together, just you and me together. And I realized that what happened, I've interviewed probably done 1,000 videos now over the years, 1,000 interviews. I've interviewed many, many famous people, governors, Deepak Chopra, Bill McKibben, lots of famous people, lots of important people, and lots of inspiring people. But what happens when I start interviewing people is it starts becoming about sort of the cult of celebrity, the cult of who are we going to get next, instead of about what we're trying to do, which is something very special, which is community. Community is more important than any guest could be for us. A guest, even someone like if we could get Michelle or Barack Obama, or if we could get, Jane Goodall, or if we could get, whomever you find most inspiring in the whole world, the point of them coming wouldn't be celebrity. Yeah, I interviewed Natalie Goldberg. Exactly. I love her. The point of them would not be celebrity. I don't care if we have celebrity or famous people on. What I care about is what can they bring to this community? How can they affect change? What can this community do to help? How can we help Greta Thunberg? She would be amazing. But the point is not that we need to go spiritual shopping for wonderful people. What do wonderful people do for us? That's question number one. What do they do for us? That's question number one. What do wonderful, inspiring people do for us? I don't think the video's in there, though, Emily. What do wonderful, inspiring people do for us? They inspire us. They make us feel good. They teach us. They inspire us. They inspire us. They motivate us. They challenge us. They fill our cup. They give us hope. They educate. Not really seeing number two. They jolt us to do more. Carla, you're getting it. Make us want to be better. Lizzie nailed it. And Carla. So that's number two. They inspire us. Yes, everyone who said that, of course. That's what they're here for. We're not here to get their autographs. I hate autographs. Next time you see someone famous, don't ask for their autograph. Ask for their inspiration. Then what do we do with that inspiration? They motivate action. Use that inspiration to inspire us to action, jolt us to do more, motivate action. The only point of having guests on is how can we be better people and help this world? So how did Jane Elliott help make you a better person or me a better person and change our lives? In the green room with Jane Elliott, before she came on, I said, make us uncomfortable. Let us sit in the yuck, to quote Nicole's article on elephant. Sit in the yuck. Make me, be hard on me. And, she was. And be hard on us. This world is all about customer service in America and capitalism. And we have this idea that everyone has to be nice to us. I wanted Jane Elliott to be tough on us. Why is being tough on us good? Because sometimes we need to change and we don't want to. And we need a little kick in the rear. There's Nicole's article. Thank you. So Nicole talks about sitting in the yuck. Please open that up. If you're willing to sit in the yuck, or if you don't know what that means, please read that. And then, so Jane Elliott helps hopefully all of us sit in the yuck together. And that's where some growth can come from, right? The lotus flower sits in the yuck. The lotus flower sits in the mud, and that's where this beautiful flower comes from. Anyone here compost? Does any of you save compost? What is compost good for? Please only answer if you actually compost. If you've actually had experience with that smelly, yucky, brown compost. It's gross. We only grow when we're out of our comfort zone. We can grow actually in pleasant ways too. We can grow through making love. We can grow through being present for our toast. But yeah, growing out of our comfort zone. Yeah, creating nutrient-rich soil, fertilizing. So yeah, we want to sit in the yuck. Is anyone going to read Nicole's article later? So then what did Senator Cory Booker, did we put that link in the sidebar? It is yucky or gross, but it's also divine and beautiful. So both. Coffee grounds and eggshells. Yeah, I don't do eggshells because I'm vegan. How do you know if someone's vegan and does CrossFit? And then, yeah, from the smelliest grows the tastiest food. So compost is beautiful. And compost is an act of activism because landfill creates what? What does landfill create directly? Anyone? Sit in the yacht. Sitting in the yacht is more fun, Walter. So Cory was vegan, speaking of vegan, and yeah, so I guess both videos are in there. I thought we did them separately. Where's the Cory blog? Yeah, so landfills create, I'm going to skip a step, Lizzie. Landfills create climate change. Who does climate change and environmental pollution affect more than any other group? Who does climate change and toxic pollution affect more than anyone else? The poor, the impoverished, animals, future generations, animals and insects and bees, basically any group of people who are marginalized. And that always includes animals because animals don't really have a voice. So marginalized, poor, vulnerable, minority communities. In foreign countries, there's going to be mass exoduses if we don't reverse climate change, and those will, by and large, affect the poor first, because rich folks can afford to fly, ironically, or train or drive or whatever, away from the trouble and recreate a whole life, get a new house. People of color. Yeah, so yeah, we'll have Cory back sometime. But I didn't want to get into this culture of celebrity because to me that's a toxic culture. It's entertainment. And entertainment is the opposite of nothing. Entertainment is the opposite. Can someone put that Blaise Pascal quote back in there? Entertainment is something that Trungpa Rinpoche, the Buddhist teacher, would rail against. Now, entertainment isn't just Netflix. It's okay to watch a movie. It's okay to enjoy ice cream. It's okay to play a video game. It's okay to have fun. We don't have to have shame around all of this, right? Shame is overrated. But a little bit of shame can be healthy. It can be regret. Oh, I regret hoarding my privilege. How can I use it to be of benefit? I regret filling every second of my life. I'm going to protect the gap, protect the space, protect the puppy. Wow, people are inspired about composting. We have amazing articles on composting and how to do it on Elephant. I also have videos on it. So I just wanted to put through this connection between doing nothing, basic goodness, empathy, and activism. Can we write down those 4 steps, Molly? So when we get rid of that culture of celebrity, we have a little bit more boredom. I'm more boring than any of one of these amazing people we could have on. You might be more boring than any one of these amazing people we have on. But together, we actually can reconnect with our fundamental basic goodness. And then we realize that, no, I'm not more boring than Greta Thunberg or Barack Obama. You're not more boring than George Clooney or Robert Redford or whomever, Jane Goodall, Maya Angelou. It's okay if we are boring. We actually make friends with ourselves. That's my tree again. Boring is not a, thank you. But boring is not an obstacle. We need to be comfortable with boredom because that is what we discover in breath, that we can relax into ourselves. So before we wrap up today, I wanted to talk about, I want to do a writing exercise to help us rediscover to sit in the yuck, and a writing exercise for activism. Both of these we do in far more depth in our Elephant Academy. And if you join Elephant Academy, we can keep doing these. It's that simple. If you value this, pay for what you value, and we'll give you even more. Yeah, wait, my singing is extra. I was singing American Paris yesterday. I was singing in the Rain yesterday. I was singing West Side Story yesterday. I love singing, and all of us should love singing, whether or not we're good at it. If we're not good at it, maybe we sing indoors more, or in the shower more, or when we're biking or walking, and we don't ruin the whole world with it. But joyful singing, even if it's awful, is joyful to others sometimes. So anyway, join. You can do the course so we do two things in the Share Your Voice bundle and the green button. One, we help you find your voice in depth. What I'm going to do now is a 3-minute exercise. So finding your voice. If you've wanted to find your voice, find out who you are, find your basic goodness, boom. That's the Find Your Voice course. And then the second, the share part, is Instagram. So many of us are on Instagram now. The principles generally apply to Twitter or Medium or whatever. I don't even know why I said Medium, but like any social media, Facebook. And to me, they are activism. So a study just came out that extreme conservatives share the most fake news on the internet. Guess what the next most sharing of fake news, of lies, of hate on the internet? Guess what group that is? Sharing fake news, number one is extreme conservatives. Who's number two? Who's number two? Who's the number two group who shares the most fake news? Kristen, that was from, I think, Jeopardy. Extreme liberals. Yes, Val. It is less. It's the far left and the far right. So that doesn't mean that everyone needs to be moderate. What that does mean is beware of your own prejudice. If you have an extreme position, you can get blinded by your own opinion. Is being blinded by your own opinion good? What are those Sherlock Holmes quotes that we share in they're on our website. So let's not just share the quotes. Let's share them in a blog or in the academy. But there's these Sherlock Holmes quotes that are so Buddhist and so journalism. I love them. And journalism at its best and Buddhism at its best are kind of the same thing to me. They're the search for truth. Yeah, so if you're a fanatic, be wary of your fanaticism. If someone came to me tomorrow and said, you know what? Climate change is not a problem. All we have to do is this. I would be like, no. But I would be like, show me the proof, because I would love to be wrong and I would love to change my mind and relax. So you can be cynical. You shouldn't be accepting. You can be, what's a better word than cynical? Discerning. But you should also be open-minded. You want both combination. So in Buddhism, we call that soft, open front, hard back. So you want a strong back and an open front. So you want to be cynical, like an arrow, but also open, like a open sky, skeptical. But you don't want to be too skeptical. Questioning, curious. Curious is a good word for both. You want to be curious, but you don't want to be like caught up in this fake news, conspiracy theory, anti-vax stuff. And I'm sorry if I'm offending you, but I'm actually. One eye sober, one eye soft. Both eyes sober, hopefully. But I know you mean. So I just ate a raisin that was on that placemat. A little weird. All right. So if, say, 5 of you join the academy, then we're on our way. We can keep doing this forever. In the meantime, please say, if anyone is considering it, the Share Your Voice is a bundle because there's 2 courses there. One is how to grow your following on Instagram, how to be an activist, how to share good stuff, truth, how to change the world for the better through your voice. One is how to find that voice. That's the course. And we put them together, and because they're together, you get like a bulk price, like at a grocery, and it's cheaper. So the best deal you'll ever find is that green button from Elephant. And when you do the Academy, you'll get access to more of my talks and questions and answers with the community. Currently considering. We have 1 maybe, which is wonderful. Gabriella, Diane, wonderful. Lizzie already signed up for Find Your Voice. Tina is considering. And so we have 1 for 5 and 3 maybes, which could turn into 2 yeses or 1 yes. So nothing we do is free. Emily and Molly is behind. Nothing we do is free for us. Emily and Molly are behind the scenes. Dave, Brian, me, a bunch of people work on the Academy to make it happen. The Academy is simply a group of courses or classes or paths, all that help you be a good person, help you be an activist, help you be a benefit to the world, help you find your right livelihood, your path in life to, be of service, to be of benefit. And Rachel, if it's too much to pay, I think you can pay in installments. I think we have that set up. Sharon, once you're back at work, yeah, definitely don't do this if you can't afford it. Debt is way overrated. Yeah, there's Molly. But Sharon, if you want to email Molly some questions, you can email her at academy@elephantjournal.com. So the other thing I will say, and then we'll do the 2 writing exercises and we'll be done, is if you're inspired to subscribe, it's only $3 a month, elephantjournal.com/subscribe. And if you can't afford the Academy, or if it's not of value to you yet or ever, subscribing is a wonderful way to, you see fewer ads, you get to read unlimited, and you get to help Elephant keep working for you. So elephantjournal.com/subscribe. Yeah, Sharon, there are installments available, I'm pretty sure. Michelle, yeah, all the info is on the landing page, and if you have any hesitation or questions, you can ask Molly. And Molly is the softest sell ever. She will not try to push you into anything. She's the nicest person, honestly. Can someone write down academy@elephantjournal.com? That's Michelle and Emily's email. Yeah, Sarah, I totally hear you on the COVID quarantine work stuff, but installments do work. So 1 person is subscribed. If 10 of you can subscribe, we will be fine. But I'm out of time. Please say if you subscribed in the sidebar. If you've already subscribed, wonderful. And if you want to do a gift subscription, say that in the sidebar. I don't think we have that yet, but you can try. All right, it is now time to write. So our first assignment is to write something that you're ashamed about, or something that's holding you back, something you don't like about yourself, and don't write any philosophy around it. Don't try to rationalize it. Let's all focus. Well, the problem with the micro subscription is it's going through a patriarchal system of PayPal, which charges a huge amount for every transaction. So we have to charge for the year, which is $36. Otherwise, we would literally, your subscription would be paying PayPal. Let's focus. So forget subscribing, forget the Academy. Let's focus on you. We're going to write about 1 thing, and you can share it in the sidebar, or you don't have to share it at all. Most of you probably won't want to share it. Write 1 thing about yourself that you're ashamed about, that you feel bad about, that you don't like about yourself. It can be anything. It can be your privilege. It can be your zits. It can be that you're 5 pounds overweight in your mind. It can be that you're balding. It can be whatever you want to write about. Your wrinkles. It can be privilege. It can be wrinkles. It can be important. It can be not important. Write 1 thing that you're ashamed, you feel bad about. You're going to have 3 minutes starting in 10 seconds, and you're not going to rationalize it. You're not going to try to make yourself feel better. Just write about it. 1 thing. Don't write about everything. Pick privilege. Pick acne. Pick one thing and write about it for 3 minutes. Go. One more minute. All right, mine's too long to copy paste. We are done with our first exercise, but I will share it as a blog on elephant. And it'll be titled something I feel bad about or whatever it is. Yeah, what the assignment was called. Oh, I feel bad about. So if any of you want to post that on Elephant Journal, here's the link. Please open that link now, and please share it later if you're inspired. Anyone? All right. Let's read a couple of these. Those of you who are brave and foolhardy enough to share them, I'm going to read them. Read a couple. We only have a minute. I have the belief that my mailman is not fond of delivering the mail to my house. The mailbox is not empty routinely. Sometimes it becomes so packed the mailman quite literally needs to pack more mail into it. This is not something I'm proud of. I have missed timely information because of it. So you just leave stuff in the mailbox. There's a process which needs to occur to sort through the junk, pay bills, and be aware of special events. Consequently, this all builds up if not dealt with. Amanda, I highly suggest having a bowl for mail like I do, and you put all of it in there. And then you can sort through it at whenever you can. I have the worst taste in men. Rachel, you're not alone. Many of us are like that with our partners, whoever they are. I always get taken for a mug, but try and learn from it. That's beautiful. I'm currently taking a year off dating to find out what I want and what's good for me. Good for you. Anything else I'm going to say no to. I don't need anyone. It would just be nice to have someone to share life with. I think everyone needs someone. Yeah. There's a wonderful article on Elephant titled don't look for your soulmate, or the soulmate isn't the one you are looking for. Something like that. Please read that. Let's put that in the sidebar for you. All right. Luann, I am petrified and ashamed that every single time I am asked to perform, my heart starts pounding. That's okay. My fingers get arthritic. That's okay. And my mind goes somewhere else instead of being in the moment. Not so good. And sharing the music, I spend hours practicing and composing. So there's advice on that. It's called, I've written about it, Luann. It's basically like wind horse. I don't know, Molly or Emily, if you can find the wind horse, but basically Trungpa Rinpoche said, if you're not nervous, if you are nervous, then you're walking into a situation of power, and that's a good thing. So you just need to like breathe and keep your mind coming back to what's going on, but just breathe. Michelle, there's more advice in that blog if we can find it. I got so offended the other day when me and my gentleman friend were described as middle-aged. I mean, offended. Well, Michelle, I don't know how old you are, but I'm 45. So, I mean, middle-aged, it means you've made it, you know, so far. But maybe if you're way younger, I can see that you might be offended. Okay. I'm in debt. I owe a lot of money and need to sort it out. I sleep well because I don't think about it. When I do, it freaks me. Sorry, the comment just bounced. Freaks me out. It's like sore that needs attention, but I choose to leave it unattended. Why? Young exam pimple. Yeah, I would not think about it and I would not ignore it. I would do something about it. Create a plan very slowly. Don't feel bad about it. Don't ignore it. Create a plan. Even if your plan is, I can't do anything right now, that's a plan. We have that blog, The Buddhist Rule Re-Worrying. Can we put that in the sidebar for the worrier up here? Cat. Okay. Bandora, I don't like that I still have a mommy tummy and my son is 10. I still look pregnant because it doesn't match the rest of my body. Pandora, can I just say, it is so vulnerable to say, so many of us have problems around our weight or our appearance, whatever it is, the balding, the wrinkles, the random cut on your forehead. That is so brave, and everyone should give Vandora a big part. But again, Vandora, read that Buddhist rule of worrying, which I hope we put in the sidebar, because if you can do something about it, why worry? If you can't do something about it, why worry? So just create a plan, or read Maitri as well, making friends with the parts of yourself that you don't like. Maitri isn't about cozy, sweet, loving kindness. It's about tough, sitting in the yuck again. It's the root of activism, is making friends with ourselves first, then empathy. All right, we're out of time. So there is more. I'll do it next week. I'll do the whole sharing your voice exercise for next week, which talks about how to connect. If you've ever had the experience of sharing something beautiful and helpful, but no one cares, can we focus for one moment? Sharing something beautiful and helpful, but no one cares. Elephant is a professional. We have millions and millions of readers. We don't have a budget particularly at getting people to care, at figuring out how to connect. So I'll go through the 3 steps for caring, for getting people to connect and to care. And if you please subscribe. Did anyone subscribe today? Did anyone? Is anyone doing the Academy today? Anyone? If I don't get some yeses, we kind of have to like change this or cancel it or do something. And I'm sorry I didn't get to all of your blurbs, but if you are inspired, please put it in elephantjournal.com. That's post. Won't let me put it in. There we go. There's the link. Did anyone subscribe today though? Michelle, I know. Thank you so much. It's so sweet. Did anyone join today? Either the Academy or Beth is doing it. Kat has done it for years. Amanda, if you only got the last 15 minutes, get the first 45. I think it was helpful and fun today. Joan already signed up. Today, yes. So we got 2 todays. Subscribed last week. Thank you so much. So it's elephantjournal.com/subscribe. Payday next week. Rachel, everyone, good luck on your finances. Elise, I just got to meet yesterday. She helped me with my basketball hoop. And big love to everybody. If you did miss today and you were here today, can you vouch for this meeting? Not for me, but for this community. how did it go? I think this was good. I think this was needed after Corey. I think it was needed after Jane. I think it was, in some ways, almost better, dare I say. Not better than Jane or Corey, but we need to get through our obstacles so that we can be of benefit. And I find that very exciting. So, did anyone find this exciting and fun? If so, vouch. If not, don't vouch. All right, let's take a great posture and give it away. Thank you so much. 8,408 folks registered for this. Super cool. Thank you for all your comments. Those of you who are talkative, thank you for being here. If you're shy, please join the Academy. Please subscribe. And then we can continue. And we'll have other wonderful guests, and we'll also have other wonderful not guests. And this week, your homework assignment is what? Can anyone remember what your homework assignment is? Just say, I vouch. Oh yeah, let's all bow out. If you're leaving, bow out. Can anyone say what our homework assignment is? Remember? Protect the gap. Nothing. Exactly. Nothing, basic goodness, empathy, natural empathy, activism. And happy Juneteenth, everybody. We have articles about Juneteenth on elephantjournal.com. Find time to do nothing. The time's already there. Just don't fill the gap. Protect the gap. Vouch. Nothing. Do nothing. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Yeah, there's a delay in comments. Thank you, everybody. Okay. Thank you. Aaron, thank you. That's super meaningful. Aaron, thank you. Yeah, read Pema Chodron when in doubt.